ॐ जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रुत्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः. Please sit erect in your seats with your limbs comfortably placed and close your eyes and try to withdraw your senses from outside disturbances and meditate on the space of your heart, luminous space of your heart. I will chant Om. After 5 minutes, I will again chant Om when you slowly open your eyes. Om. Shanti mantra. Please repeat after me. Om. Sahana vavatu. Sahanau bhunaktu. Sahaviryam karavavahai. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The beginning, I have a small request to make. We can keep this door open because many a times I have seen people peeking in and they somehow feel that they are not part or they are not invited. So please go and open the door and keep it. Just now somebody came and just peeked in. It's almost every day I see that somebody comes and they're like, whether this is for, and then we are probably saying Om, or everybody is closed eyes, and so they somehow put off some. Yeah, that is there, that I can make from their thing. Now the person who came probably wanted to attend but was put off. Anyway. Usually people who have programs, they are mostly, if not always, undergraduate students. They come and then they, as soon as they see, immediately they are like, they get the allergy, they, like that they go away. But this person was wanting, and to be or not to be is the question. Where? Among the youngsters? You knew? You knew? Okay, who wrote Macbeth? Neeraj? Who wrote Macbeth? What will happen to your life if you are always going to study only about microprocessors and process systems and all this? Some love and some rasa is necessary in life. Literature, Shakespeare. If you don't know Shakespeare, you don't know anything. If you don't know Ravi Thakur, you don't know anything. If you don't know Premchand, you don't know anything. You should know literature. It's unfortunate that this particularly last decade, parents have forced their children to become engineers. Engineers and only engineers. There is no harm in that. But at the cost of not studying humanities, at the cost of not knowing history, at the cost of not knowing literature, music, movies and all. What makes a human being a human being?
Emotions.
We have discussed how does and there is another unique feature of human being, the capacity to smile. No, the capacity to smile. In fact, biologically, only human beings and beings which are close to human beings can actually smile. Even in the case of chimpanzees, the smile is not a smile but more an imitation. So only human beings can smile, and more so, human beings are capable of smiling at oneself. That is a still very evolved feeling. You can smile at yourself, joke on yourself. So you become a human being because of these qualities. You become a human being because you can watch at a painting of modern art which makes no sense, but still you can find out a lot of philosophy out of that. That makes you human being. You can read some Adhunik Kavita and go on lecturing about that. So that makes you human being. So unless you have literature, simply Harry Potter, have you read? Thank you. But Harry Potter is not literature. You should read. Somebody today while coming, this person constantly purchases Flipkart and all kinds of books, Chetan Bhagat and that. It all began as a friend request. This is a book name. Do you know this? It's actually a novel. Nowadays you can write any novel and anything can be published. And it can be on Flipkart or other cart and it will sell. So it began with a friend request. Like that. So many things. Can love be second time? All these kinds of things they publish and this is what they read. So I said, have you read Crime and Punishment? How many of you have read Crime and Punishment? This is a crime really. It is a crime not to have read Crime and Punishment. This book which was written in the 18th century or 19th century has been translated into almost all languages in the world. Written by who wrote Crime and Punishment? Wow. You're so ignorant of literature. No? Fyodor Dostoevsky. So, this book which was published in Russian has been translated into almost all languages. Indian languages, all languages that's been translated. So, that itself shows that this book is so important. You have to read. Nobody has read Malayalam version. Huh? Yes, Crime and Punishment. So this book we need to read this book. So all of you who have not read, I told that person, instead of reading all these books, you purchase this and read. Read some literature which is a classic. And it is a book which is unputdownable. No one, Swami told me, don't read this book in the night, then you will not be able to sleep. So I did exactly that, because if you are told you don't read in the night, you will exactly do that. Then I read it and then I went on reading it up to 4 o'clock in the morning. 10 o'clock I started, and so this is a book which is called Unputdownable. Such a book, Crime and Punishment. So English translation is really good. I don't know about the Malayalam version. I have not read it. Anyway, so Death with a Difference. Crime and Punishment in some remote way is connected with death, because there is actually a murder. But when we are talking about death with a difference, we are saying that why is the death difference? না কি প্রত্যেক ক্লাসে বলা হচ্ছে ডেথ উইথ আ ডিফারেন্স কথাটা কেন পার্থক্যটা কোথায় where is the difference there is no death that is the difference there is no death na hanyate na hanyamane sharire that is the and both of us we are trying to come to an understanding to how to understand that the soul has no death. Speaking is one thing, reading is one thing, chanting some stotras or mantras is another, but how to actually palpably practice and realize it in our day-to-day lives. How to do that? That is the idea. So now, till now we have seen, what did we see? We saw, last class we saw this, that one person who after dying, we go to different births according to what we have practiced when we were alive. Yonim anye prapadyante sharirattvaya dehina, etc. So some people go to different other beings, and some people become sthanu, etc. They become inert material. If they have done so bad things, so they become immobile. like trees, etc. And then next is a person who, even a being which is awake even when everything is sleeping. Like in the dream state, we are sleeping, but still we suddenly go to New York, we go to Honolulu, or whatever is the place where you go to, and you do all kinds of things in the dream state. Why? Because kamam purusho nirmimanaha. All your desires are being fructified, brought to fruition. By whom? This Atman, this soul. That is what we saw, etad vaitat. Then we saw that just like different forms of fire, even though they take different forms because of the fuel. So fire from gas is different, fire from wood is different. Similarly, the same soul or Atma takes different manifestations, and these manifestations occur because we are generally dabbling in ignorance. Because of our ignorance, we see these different manifestations. And similarly, then another simile was that just like you have different kinds of air. Now these are the different types of fire. Then we saw that different kinds of air, they go into different cavities, say this room, and they take different shapes. But the Atman also, outside, it appears as though it is taking different shapes. This is what we saw. Now, today we will go to a different mantra. Suryo yatha sarvalokasya chakshuhu na lipyate chakshushay bahya doshaihi ekah tatha sarvabhuta antaratma na lipyate loka dukkhena bahyah. So what does it mean? Suryo yatha sarvalokasya chakshuhu. So the sun is sarvalokasya chakshuhu. It is the eye of the entire world. So basically our biological systems, they function based on the solar cycle. We have to accept that. It is a biological fact. We have to accept that. So that is why this, you see, chakshuhu, not only in the sense of sun being the primary source of light, but also in the sense of that sun sustains the biological cycle of all the living beings in this world. How there are living beings who work or are active in the daytime. There are living beings who are active in the night time. So night time they are called nocturnal, and daytime what are they called? Diurnal. There is actually another opposite, seldom used, diurnal, diurnal. So we are all daytime, we are supposed to be daytime, but I think IIT is the wrong place to tell that. Here most of the people are nighttime people. But anyway, daytime, we are supposed to be daytime living beings and nighttime living beings. Why was the lights switched off in the behind? I don't know. Suddenly somebody switched off the lights. So you also need illumination. No? Somebody heard that sun is the source of light, so tube light is not necessary. So not like that. We have to remind that person. So nocturnal. But interesting thing is, even for beings like bat or owl who are active in the night time, they are basing their activity on the sun only. When the sun is not there, they are active. You see? So everyone is dependent on the sun. And only when we don't understand this basic biological fact, We suddenly try to change what has been acquired over a series of steps in evolution. Like you cannot grow a tail now because you have evolved. You cannot go back. It's not possible. So you will have to get some other appendage done by some makeup artist or something. Like they do in Ram Leela. Everybody has got on tail. No? Hanuman. So this you cannot do. So we forget that and we try to live during night time, sleep in daytime, and all kinds of metabolic and anabolic activities in your body get disturbed. You cannot concentrate as much in night time. This is a proven fact. And you cannot sleep as nicely in daytime. That again is a proven fact. Even just the ambient sound, the birds are chirping, that so many hustle, bustle and all, will not make you sleep. You will not get what we say sound sleep. But we don't know why sound sleep, probably because of snoring. But again, biologically, if somebody snores, he does not get good sleep. But anyway, sound sleep. So you will get only sound, not sleep. So you should not try to go beyond or go away from this solar cycle, this cycle which is very, very important. And when we do that, always you see people get cardiac problems, people get obesity. Most of us don't know, but it is an interesting medical fact again, that people become obese when they don't sleep properly. Contrary to the popular notion that if you sleep, you will become obese. No, it is quite the other way around. If you cut on sleep, you will become obese. So obesity, we have seen Hollywood movies where a person is always working in computer and drinking Coke and eating pizza and becoming obese. No? That's the typical imagery. No, so the Surya Lokasya Chakshuhu, Sarva Lokasya Chakshuhu, Surya being or sun being the eye of the entire world is not only in the sense of it being the source of light, but also it being the source of sustenance, the source of energy. Solar energy we can use more. So source of energy. Na lipyate chakshushayi bahya doshaihi. But though the sun sustains whatever is there in this universe and also illumines whatever is there in the universe, last class also we discussed this, but it is not affected by what is being illumined, just like this tube light. Now those tube lights were switched off, so the people who were sitting there are affected, they are not able to read. So, but still, the other person who is sitting, you are able to read. Now he is not reading, that is a different question altogether. But if two more lights would have helped him read better. So that reading, when I said they are not able to read, they said, no, we have no problem. So what this Swami is talking about, kind of that. So this reading, they are not able to, but still the tube light is not affected. Similarly, the sun illumines all these things, but it itself is not affected. Also, what it illumines, suppose there is a rogue, a murderer is going to commit a murder, it is illumining. A scholar is reading, it is illumining. The scholar is reading maybe for good or maybe to give lecture and torture people for bad, we don't know. But murderer is committing murder, that also can be good if it is a soldier and bad if pure murderer. But whatever, the sun does not discriminate and the sun is not affected. The sun is not bothered. The sun is not bothered. It is not affected by what is being illumined. The sun gives sustenance to a tiger and also to the breakfast of tiger, a goat, say, or lunch, maybe a cow. So, but still that sun is not affected. So, bahya doshaihi, by external blemishes or external defects, the sun is not affected. Also, a person may have, somebody removed the spectacle just now, so a person may have a spectacle. Now, these things make it more lively, somebody is removing the spectacle, somebody is smiling on knowing that somebody has removed the spectacle, etc. So, you have most of you have spectacles. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone has got a spectacle. You also have got a spectacle. Great. So 100% spectacled people. So You are all having 4 eyes. So, even because you have spectacles, the sun will shine on you. You may not be able to see the sun. Or you may not be able to see an object in spite of the fact that there is proper illumination by sun. But you may have, somebody has got this astigmatism. This is a cylindrical defect. So the mobile is like this, it becomes like this. Then there is a special lens correction for that, and then it can. So this vertical thing does not match. And there are so many things. This optical thing is so wonderful. We don't understand when we see things. But as I was mentioning last time also, there are 30 nerve centers which function at the same time for us to enable us to see an image. And we know only that an inverted image is put on the retina and we see. But it is not that simple. It's much more complicated. And if any one of those areas go wrong, then we will see all wrong things. So there is color blindness, there is astigmatism. Only when something goes wrong, we understand that, oh, if somebody does not clear the gutter, we know that there was a person who was clearing the gutter. Otherwise, nobody is bothered. No? Like in houses, it so commonly happens that you want that bed tea or whatever, and when mother has fallen sick, then you know that, oh, she used to prepare this bed tea at the proper time. Till then, we are not aware. It helps. It helps in the sense, I will have to naturally give you an empirical example. For example, say, okay, very simple, very, very common example, a small child. It happens to every one of us. A small child is coming and giving a nice blow to you. Okay, wants to wrestle with you. So you know that the child will come and give you blow. And you also know that you will get some blow actually, and maybe some pain will be there. But because you know that you are so big that nothing will happen, the child may come and pinch your leg or do something. Or still, wonderful thing which always happens is you go to somebody's house and you see a small child which can be taken in the arm and all. And children are always so cute, so beautiful. So you take, and then that person goes, urinates or something. So you know that this is the occupational hazard, as so to say. So you know this will happen, but still you are not disturbed. All the more you say, okay, I don't mind, etc., etc. Or when the child is pushing you or trying to do wrestling with you, you all the more love. You say, okay, dishum, something you do that. Why? Because you are very much aware that your stature or your position is much more stronger than the child. This awareness gives you this attitude of, though there is some kind of, it is not that sometimes children can be very, children can also bite. They will leave real teeth marks on your skin, etc. Children can be very dangerous. The other day somebody was telling me that when that person was, now he is almost 60. So when the person was in school, there used to be a lot of tutors to teach that person. In house, they used to keep tutors. And there was no tutor who was not hit. So if somebody hits him, then he will hit back. And also by using those rulers, earlier they had this cylindrical black things, rods, ruler, and also sometimes he used to throw stones or bricks, etc. So very dangerous child. So there can be dangerous children also. But with all that knowledge, you know that yes, I know his father or her father. Means you are positioned in such a way that you are superior to that child. With that knowledge, it gives you fearlessness. As far as the child. Similarly, if you know, if you are aware that body is not your true identity, if you are aware that mind is not your true identity, so mind will be sorrow. See, the whole point is, I was going to delve that, we will go into it deeper. The point is not that by many people ask, what was Sri Ramakrishna or what was Swami Vivekananda? Like there are some people who make a big journalistic business out of this. Swami Vivekananda had 40 diseases. Or Swami Vivekananda went to this thing, etc. So Swami Vivekananda, his body was a human body only. Sri Ramakrishna, he had cancer, so what great is he, etc. So that is a foolish thing to say, because Sri Ramakrishna also had a human body. The point is not that your body will not be destroyed. Your body will be destroyed. The point is not that your mind will not be affected. Your mind will be affected. The point is that you know that you are not the body and the mind. You very clearly and distinctly know that you are separate from and you are much superior than the body and the mind. This awareness, just like in the child example, it gives you lot of peace. In fact, it gives you ananda, bliss, just to know your true nature. So we are not saying that by knowing your true nature, your body will not perish. It will perish. And as the case may be, it will be either buried or sent to crematorium, either the traditional one or the electrical one, whatever it is. But it will go. It will become ashes, or it will be buried, whatever. The body will perish. The body will not remain intact, because that is the nature of body. It is matter. But with this knowledge that you are not the body, you will be much more better placed in even this living life, in this very existence. Because you will know that, yeah, I am not the body. Just imagine, again in the parable of Alexander, somebody comes and keeps say that time it was a sword, now it will be a revolver, definitely. So revolver or whatever. Or somebody comes, a suicide bomber, and says, I am going to blow off the hall, etc. So if you are established in the knowledge of Atman, you will say, okay, no problem, because I am not the body. So that kind of thing it gives in practical reality. So na lipyate chakshushai bahya doshai. It is not influenced by the external blemishes of the eyes. Na lipyate, it is that external lipyate means they don't attach to. So these external defects of the eyes are not attached to the sun. Similarly, ekah tatha sarva bhuta antaratma. So this bhuta is not ghost. Bhuta means living being. Bhuta means living beings. That which has been manifested is called bhuta. So sarva bhuta antaratma, the inmost soul or indwelling soul, Atman, which is inside every living being. Antah atma antaratma. Antah atma. Antah means inside, indwelling. Atma means soul or Atman. The Atman which is inside every living being. Ekah, it is one. It is not many, it is one. And na lipyate loka dukkhena bahyah. It is not affected by the sufferings of the others. And the bahya here also means one thing. What it is the Atman is bahya. It is separate from, external than the body and the mind. It is separate from, and that's why the word is used, transcendental. Means it is not attached to the body and the mind. So bahya does not mean here, like in the earlier case it was bahya doshaihi, where it meant external defects. Here it does not mean external. Here loka dukkhena. Loka dukkhena means the suffering of people. But bahya means Atman is bahya. That means Atman is transcendental. Atman is beyond body and mind. It is greater than body and mind. How is it greater than body and mind? The body will go away, the mind will go away, Vijnanamaya kosha, Anandamaya kosha, etc. Everything will go away, but still the Atman will remain. And Atman is one. Atman is one, but because of ignorance, we see many. So this is the idea. So what is the idea now? This is what we talk about as Sakshi. See, our problem is that we know what is observed, but we do not know who is observing. Always we know what is observed. There is no camera in this world which can take its own photograph. Impossible. Is there any camera? It's not possible. It is not possible by the very science or the very technique. So even if it has to be done, there will have to be, you will have to build in another camera inside that camera which will take the photograph. No lens can take its own picture. It's not possible. No mirror can show what is inside the mirror. It's not possible. It can show only what is in front of the mirror. Similarly, you can see only what, that is why in Kathopanishad itself we saw that, what did we saw? Paranchi khani vetrinat swayambhuhu. There is a manufacturing defect and a very serious manufacturing defect. That all your senses can see only what is outside. Parang pashyati na antaratman, not the inside. So that is why what, as we see whenever you go into some high security zone, they have this one kind of thing, no? There they will keep the mirror and they will have a hook kind of, and they will see, they will put it in below your car and all, and see whether there is some. Till now I have not understood how they will be able to find out a bomb. Do you really think that a person will put the bomb in such a way that you can actually see it? Anyway, security systems are all like that, but they put it. So why? Similarly, you have this periscope. So all these kinds of one lens or some particular angle to see what is not apparent, what is not visible. So similarly, avritta chakshu, you will have to turn inward. So the whole problem is this. What is the answer to that problem? It is there in the Gita, it is there in almost all the scriptures. Sakshi. Be a witness. Why be a witness? Because you are the witness. See, you are the witness. You are not a part of the observed, but you are the observer. But what happens? We always see bodies. We consider ourselves also as a body. We consider ourselves as a observed phenomena. So we think that I am the observed, so I also observe everybody. But that the idea is that you are not the drishya. You are not the scene which is seen. You are actually the camera. You are the drashta. You are the person who is seeing. You are the sakshi. So that you need to see. So that is why nowadays you have this mobile with dual camera. So even while you are seeing like this, you can catch. So you have to change. Like they have one feature where you have to change it to the secondary camera. So all of us have to change to the secondary camera. That's what we have to do. Instead of seeing outside, we have to flip camera. And secondary camera we have to see. And then when we see that, when we see inside, then we know our true nature. Then we will do contemplation. Am I the body? No, I am not the body. Why? Because when I was a small person, I took a photograph in the school and now I have posted it on Facebook, and I myself cannot recognize where I am. So it is like question, find out where am I, etc. So I have changed. Biologically I have changed. My hair has changed, etc. Everything has changed. So I am not the body. I am not the mind also, because earlier I used to think that what? I will become this, and now something I think it is great. Earlier I used to think this is the end of life. Coming to IIT is end of life. Now I think no, IIT is not the end of life. There are better things to do. So this thing has changed and changed and changed. So mind also is not my true nature. Then what is the true nature? Is that nature the bliss which I get when I eat mango? Is that, or my in between, you see, we always leapfrog, we always miss one kosha, that is pranamaya kosha. So many people breathe. Breathing is my nature. No, breathing is not your nature. Breathing may prevent some kind of stomach problem, etc. Pranayama, if you do, maybe your blood pressure may come down. Kapalbhati and all that are there. But it may give you some relief on the body level, but you are not. Why? How can you say that? Yes, sometimes I am not able to breathe, but still I don't die. If breathing was my nature, then if I stop breathing, then immediately I should die, because my nature is stopped. But so I am not the prana also. Then I am not the mind also. Then I am not this. I read so many things. So some knowledge I get. Am I knowledge? Some people think I am knowledge. I know, therefore I am. What is the original phrase? Cogito ergo sum. Cogito ergo sum. So I know, therefore I am, or I think, therefore I am. So now Rene Descartes, So, yeah, I think, therefore I am, or I know, therefore I am. This is the thing. But if I don't think, will I not exist? There are so many people who completely don't think at all. Thoughtless people. The whole society is full of them. Deep sleep also, but even waking also many people don't think. We have wonderful examples in real life. So, many people don't think. So, but still they are there very much for all. Unfortunately for us and fortunately for them, they are there. No. So, and then Anandamaya Kosha. What is this Anandamaya Kosha? This Ananda is not the Ananda of Atman. What Anandamaya Kosha? You wanted a pizza and you got a pizza and you get Ananda. No? Wow, I have taken. So is this Ananda, that Ananda? No. Because after some time, even if you are given pizza, you will get, that Ananda will convert into sorrow. Suppose there was this person who did not like a thing. It was put on his, when you go to a feast, the plantain leaf will be there and they will put all the goodies there, no? And some things will be already put and then they will put other things. So one thing was put, a little bitter taste, it was put already. So he saw that, okay, let us finish this, then so many nice things will come and then I will eat those things. So immediately he wiped off. He did not want to see it also, wiped off. So they saw, oh, this person likes this. Again he put. So it goes on and on. So if you want pizza, you have, and the other person says, oh, pizza. And it happens with us a lot, you know. Some place you go and they have made something and you can say that, or rather you should say that it is good. But somehow they have this communication. Next place, even before you go, they say, oh, Maharajar ota bhalo lage. Menu suddenly is freezed. You will get nothing else, only that you will get. So, Maharajar ota bhalo lage. There was in school I read a story where one king tasted something and said that it is good. And all places he went, only that thing was prepared because king likes. So like that. So this also is not your true nature. Had it been your true nature, every time you take pizza, you should have felt bliss. But it is not happening. So this is not bliss, this Ananda also. So what is your nature? Your nature is just to exist, which Ramana Maharshi so eloquently said. In Tamil he said, Summa ire, or Arthur Osborne translated it, be as you are. There is a book, Teachings of Ramana Maharshi, be as you are. Just be as you are. That is Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat, existence. Chit, consciousness. Ananda, bliss. That is what is your nature. So you are not affected by what you see. This is our problem. We always confuse ourselves with what we see. We forget that we are not the object, we are the subject. We always confuse. We think, and also when we say that we will become spiritual, we think that suddenly something miraculous should happen. Morning I should not feel hungry. Because I have become spiritual, my body should not have this regular metabolic activity, metabolism, etc. Nothing should happen. Then somebody scolds me, I should become like inert, I should not respond. Swami Vivekananda in one place says, no. We miss the whole point. Your mind will act like that. Your mind will, it does not mean that you become inert. Nothing. You don't become like a wall. You are a human being. Your mind will act. Somebody will say, but you know that that is not your existence. So, outside, that is why you see titiksha. Ethical thing is also necessary. Titiksha. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam. Apratikara purvakam. It is very easy. Somebody scolds me. Now, Neeraj is completely fed up with me, he scolds me. You cut the crap, come to the point. Like that, something he says. So, it is very easy to not tell him back because you see some dignity, prestige, etc. everybody has in society. So, I don't tell him anything back. But, chinta vilapa. So, but I will think, तुमने ऐसे बताया ना, मुझे भी तो chance मिलेगा, देखता हूँ, etc. So, chinta vilapa rahitam. So, even you should not think about it. Chinta and vilapa, you should not lament on that. You should not lament on that. So, this ethical thing is given to counteract the problem which is created by material thing like mind. Because mind is matter, it will always feel elated, it will feel depressed, this will be there. So, this ethical practice system is given to, but without the conviction that you are the Atman, this practice will do no good. This practice will do no good. Just by saying that, okay, I have not to think about what Neeraj has scolded, I have not to react, etc., you will only become a hypocrite. Unless you believe that you are the Atman, why you should not think? What is the reason? What is the logical reason or rationale behind not thinking about that scolding? Because you are the Atman. Anyway, it does not matter whatever says, whomsoever says. Unless you have that conviction, you cannot practice this. And also ethics will not be possible. You see, ethics, survival of the fittest. So why should I be ethical? The question comes, why should I be ethical? Unless you know that you are not the body and the mind, you cannot be ethical. You will always need a rationality. You will always need a logic to become ethical. Why do you want to become ethical? So, I will say that I will become ethical. Why should I be unselfish? I will be unselfish as far as it is profitable for me. So again, it is not being unselfish at all. Now, only this is very eloquently put by Swami Adbhutananda Ji Maharaj. Once Swami Adbhutananda Ji Maharaj was questioned by some non-Indian disciples of Swami Vivekananda. They asked him, why do you say that there should be service? Service, selfless service. Then Swami Adbhutananda said, see, without an idea of God or without an idea of higher self, you can never do selfless service. Because there you will not have any motivation. Why will you do selfless service? For what? No motivation you will have. So if you don't believe that you are not the body and mind, you cannot be ethical. You will become selfish. You will do whatever is profitable to you. No logical, rational man can become ethical, or woman can become ethical if he or she does not believe in the Atman or in God. Some supra reality than this body and mind, if you don't believe, you cannot become ethical. That is the point. So that is why we have to always remember that we are not the observed, we are not what is being seen, but we are the seer. We are not the observed, but we are the observer. This Sakshi, Kshetra Kshetrajna, Vibhaga Yogo, there is one chapter in the Bhagavad Gita. That Kshetra, this field, and you are the knower of the field, Kshetrajna. You should know that. Unless you have this idea, you can never ever progress, both either in the field of ethics or in the field of spirituality. No, if you feel like that, you will not just feel good.
And a sense of feeling that comes.
Huh?
When you feel good, you are not perturbed. For us, normal being kind of thing.
No, if you really feel like that, it will not just be that you feel good and you are not perturbed, but actually you will understand that whatever you see are just like something is going on a screen. You see, this happens. The best method to test whether you feel actually that is to test it when you are in a problem. When I have no problem, no trouble, and I think I am the Atman, everybody will feel good. But somebody is going to scold me, or I am put in some particular trouble. If then I feel I am an Atman, then what I will think is not that everything is good, but I will suddenly become detached. Suddenly, in the scriptures it is told, you will see the entire thing as though it is a dream. What happens in our dream? Suddenly the whole world will become a dream. It will not be so vivid to you. Even in this world, you see, there are different types of people. One kind of people is, suppose the mobile phone is not working. They cannot breathe. Please don't mistake me. There are people like that. They cannot breathe. They will feel so, they will go into a panic attack because their mobile phone is not working. So much attached to a material thing. So some people are there who are not like that. Some people are there who have done some work. They have written an article or written a paper or something, and it is lost. They will become, they will become hysteric. They cannot control themselves because they have put all their mind into that. And now it is lost, they are not able to trace. Or in computer the file has got deleted. They're not able to trace. So the whole thing they will lose. So they also are a different kind of people. So they, they have become so much mixed up with this article or the mobile or whatever it is. There are other kinds of people. For example, it happens more in the case of mothers, at least in India. If something happens to the child, the mother will almost die. The mother will almost die. The person, I have seen many people going mad. Literally mad, schizophrenia, straight away. One attack and something happened to the child died and mother became mad. So much of attachment to the child. So how do you explain it? So that is why in scriptures or people who have realized, they say that a person who has really understood or who is convinced that one is not the body or mind, and one who is convinced that one is the soul or Atman, sees this whole world, even Sri Ramakrishna says that, sees this whole world as though it is a dream. Everything, Swami Vivekananda says that sometimes I used to think the whole world is just like a dream. So there is, in dream we have just a hazy, it's not vivid, you see. It's not vivid, just a hazy thing. Something is going on like that. You see people, you go, etc. But still everything is not that vivid. That's why we say it was a vivid dream. Means comparatively it was vivid. More vivid. So this happens. Or you see things just like you see on a cinema screen. It is going, it is not affected. There was a very intelligent person who went to a cinema. All of you know this. They went to a cinema and then he saw that it was Jurassic Park and the dinosaur was coming to kill. So he got up and he was running. So another person told, why are you running? It is just a cinema. He said, you know it and I know it. Dinosaur does not know. So, not like that. You will see everything as though it is happening on a cinema screen. You will become detached. That is what will happen. In reality, that is what will happen. So the litmus test is to see whether you feel like that when you are in a problem. When you have everything to eat, somebody is giving you tea, etc. Everything is normal, then you will not understand. When there is a problem situation, then you will understand if you truly feel that you are the Atman. And if you feel so, particularly when you are ill, when you are ill, you have suddenly some kind of pain. At that moment, can you feel that you are not the body? If you can, then you will understand what I am saying. The pain, knowledge of the pain will be there. You will not become ignorant. You will have the knowledge of the pain, but it will somehow not affect you. That is what happens. So if that happens, it will only help you in understanding the transitoriness of this world. That this world is not going to help you in any way. So only one way this world can help, it can exhaust your karmas. That's the only way it can help. So what we have to do, we have to understand that we are I hope I could clear your point. We are the witness. We have to understand that we are the witness. We are not what is being witnessed. And this, again, we have to understand the concept of superimposition. What is superimposition, Neeraj? Adhyasa is the word. Adhi plus asa. Adhi means adhikarana, basis. On that something is superimposed. Adhyasa. What is superimposition?
What is the consciousness? Nothing is
No. Just give me a definition of superimposition. No, don't give me example. Just what is superimposition?
something which is not real, we are considering it to be real.
Something is put again and again.
Superimpose something which is put on another. Simple meaning. No? There is an image. Now you have all Photoshop, Picasso and everything. You take one. Huh?
That is super.
Exactly. On the screen, this slide has been imposed. That is superimposition. So when you put a mask on your face, a mask has been imposed. That is superimposition. How many of you have not seen mask? Mask, Jim Carrey? Everyone has seen. Huh? How many of you have not seen? Mask you have seen, no? So not seen means, I am not asking how many of you have seen. So what is this? Nobody reads literature, nobody watches movies. Very drab kind of, dull this thing. No, no, that is all right. But mask you have to see. All said and done. Huh? Mask, it's a very good movie. It's a very good. You have seen it? No, Neeraj, have you seen it?
I have seen, but
Forgot. No, you don't know. Just to see the Jim Carrey caricatures, you have to see. It's not a cartoon, it's a movie.
Made a cartoon serial based on that.
That is not even close. Mask original you have to see. Anyway, so this mask, that is superimposition. So what happens? We are real. Sat Chit Ananda. On that there is a superimposition. Even today I saw, which happens only on summer, in summer, but it was raining, but I saw in the highway, it's a very common thing. I was coming in the car and I saw that there is water. I was thinking, oh, there is water, and when I come near, it is only road, tar. So tar suddenly appears as water, superimposition. You go to a dark room, and the very famous classical example of rope and snake. You go to the dark room and there is no light, and then you see a coiled rope, a coil of rope, you mistake it to be snake. It happens in the other situation also, where you have this, when we are children, all of us play this prank, what we get those rubber lizard and all that, and put it on the some etc. We used to do it with teachers, no, that is a better thing to do. So you put it on the chair, and then teacher comes and ooh, like that something, then we are all very happy, etc. So that is also superimposition. You think that it is live, but it is not live, it is only rubber. Then you have this superimposition of mother of pearl. Mother of pearl, you mistake it to be silver. It is not silver, but because the same glittering, glistening nature is there, so you feel that it is silver. So there are so many kinds of superimposition in our day-to-day life. And what is the superimposition which is always creating suffering for us? It is that we superimpose consciousness on that which is not conscious. Just like the example of rope, we superimpose consciousness on that which is not conscious. We think body is conscious, body is not conscious. We think mind is mind is not conscious. So we superimpose and we think that, oh, my body, suddenly there are dots. Earlier I was so beautiful, now dots are there. So bring this cream and put and all that. Because why? You ascribe reality to something which is not real. You ascribe permanence to something which is not permanent. That is the whole problem. So if we can understand what is what, we will not confuse ourselves. What we do? In computers, what do we do, Neeraj? In computers, what do we do? No. In computers, do we believe that a motherboard is permanent? That's not what I am telling. Do you believe that a hard disk is permanent? Do you believe a motherboard is permanent? When you assemble a computer, when you purchase a computer, you understand, it is by default, you know that this can go kaput anytime. This can go, just it can crash, motherboard can burn, and the hard disk can go. So what do? Backup. You have a backup. And nowadays, backup also can go, so you have better still an online backup. Online backup is good because the person with whom they have so many servers across all over the world, so your backup is in correct place. So what do? Very important files, we send a copy to ourselves. We send a mail, attach a copy and send it to ourselves. So kahin bhi nahi rahega to Gmail mein rahega. So we take a backup. That backup we need. And here what is the backup? The knowledge that you are the Atman. That is the backup you need. So only a completely foolish or completely computer illiterate person will cry so much when a hard disk crashes. What do? Hard disk crashes, you say, okay, is it in warranty period? If it is in warranty, then send for a replacement. If it is not in warranty, see if anything can be done, otherwise get a new hard disk, that's all. Because everything, backup, everything is there, so nothing to worry about. So you also have that image backup, no, whole program, everything is taken backup. When the new hard disk come, all you have to do is recover image backup and everything is there. All your settings, programs, everything. You have not to worry anything at all. So similarly, we need a backup, complete recovery program of what? Of our true nature. Sat Chit Ananda. That is the nature. So we don't ascribe reality to this world. We don't ascribe reality to a mic. If something goes wrong in the mic, oh, how can this mic? Why? That's the nature of it. If I get fever, that is the nature of the body. If I am very clear, that will only happen. So I have a backup. The knowledge that I am not the body and that body is perishable. This knowledge will be my backup. This is what this mantra is telling. And with this knowledge, if you go to the next mantra, things become clear. What is the next mantra? Eko Vashi Sarva Bhuta Antaratma Ekam Rupam Bahudha Yak Karoti Tam Atmastham Ye Anupashyanti Dhiraha Tesham Sukham Shashvatam Na Itaresham. So in Sandhi it becomes Netaresham. So Eko Vashi Sarva Bhuta Antaratma. So the indwelling self, Eko Vashi. It is one and it is the controller. Vashi, controller, and it is Ekaha. Ekaha in Sandhi becomes Eko. Ekaha. It is one and it is the controller. Sarva Bhuta Antar Atma. You see, though it is one, it is like dictator. Hitler wanted to become the controller of the entire world, but already there is one controller. Alexander also wanted the same thing, but already it is there. Napoleon also wanted the same thing. These people did not know that Atman was already the controller. So, Eko Vashi. But, though it is one, it is controlling everything. And, Yaha Ekam Rupam Bahudha Karoti. And it makes one appear as many. Bahudha Karoti. It makes one appear as many. Many, Bahudha. It makes many, diverse. How? Because of ignorance. Because of Nama, name, Rupa, form. So, the same Atman suddenly becomes Professor Somnath and disciple Neeraj like that. How it happens? Suddenly, because of ignorance. There is nothing else. Only Brahman is there. Only rope is there. But rope itself becomes snake. You see, in that dark room example, only rope is there. Has anything else come there? No. Only darkness is there. Rope only is there. It's not that you brought something and kept. But that rope itself suddenly becomes snake. How it becomes? Because of the darkness. Similarly, your true nature becomes into different single nature. It becomes into diverse forms, diverse names because of the ignorance. But it happens. Though it happens, it is a fact that that indwelling Atma stays in all the living beings. Brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra arudani mayaya. So in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says that I am there inside all the living beings and I am through my Maya, through my power, divine power, controlling them just like a person controls a machine. Sitting on the machine like you control a car. Yantra arudani mayaya. I control. So this is what? Vashi. It is being controlled. All the beings are being controlled by that Atman. Tam atmastham ye anupashyanti. Dhiraha. Again we come across this word dhiraha. This word is again and again put. Kashchit dhiraha. Paranchi Khani Vetranath Swayambhu. Anybody can tell the mantra? No. Yes, tell. Tasmat parang.
तस्मात् पराक् पश्यति नान्तरात्मा
Hmm.
कश्चित् धीरः प्रत्यगात्मनम्
Hmm.
ऐक्षत्
Hmm.
आवृतचक्षु
Amritatvam ichan. These words we have to memorize. Why? That is what last time we saw. What did we saw? Yatha shrutam. What you think, what you hear, that is what you are going to think at the end of the life. You are not going to suddenly think something great. So unless you do this constantly, you will not be able to think at the end of the life. So, dhiraha is, another thing is